I'll start with the topic: ingredients for a delightful customer experience in the next normal. What does it mean? That there is definitely a shift in what normal used to be. I personally believe that there is a minor shift here and there, but it is not like some kind of a tectonic shift. It's not like a big paradigm shift that has happened. Yes, there could be people who are a little scared of going out for various reasons, or may not be stepping out as much and calling in food. There could be a little more emphasis with some of you players on the delivery business. But end of the day, I think this is temporary and definitely not the new normal, in my view. It's not the next normal. But what remains very clearly in the epicenter of all this is our consumer. And that is going to be our focus. How to keep our consumers happy, how to keep increasing our consumer base, and what does it take to do all this. Let me kickstart with Nitin.
Thank you, Anurag. I totally concur with what you said, that I don't think we are cumulatively looking at a tectonic shift. However, we are certainly looking at a lot of micro shifts that the consumer is already demonstrating. I'll just name a few of them. For a lot of businesses, delivery has certainly gone through the roof. And in fact, there has been a dispersion that has happened from their dine-in businesses to delivery businesses. Thankfully, chai being that impulse category, we are not seeing that dispersion. So that is certainly a behavior that many different brands have shown. Talking about us personally, the kind of investments that were made in technology pre-COVID, they started to just reap immense benefits, because the consumer is now aggressively adopting technology in order to be able to just like interact with our team, not interact with our team, and just place their order, just track everything that's going on. So there is a very clear intent that the customer has been demonstrating as far as technology is concerned. The third one, which we all have been witnessing and shall continue to witness, that consumer will continue to invest their trust on those brands which they are confident are doing great job as far as overall hygiene at the store, safety at the store is concerned. We have something called as safety promise. And a lot of different brands have invested disproportionate amount of efforts as far as that is concerned. And I think good brands are certainly going to reap immense benefits out of it, because that's how the customer is going to be making their purchase decisions. So yeah, some of those significant, clear ones, none of them tectonic.
Yeah. You're very right, Nitin. I concur with you about these mini shifts are going to happen. And I must also add there, I don't see them as permanent shifts. These are only till the crisis and its aftermath is lasting in the market. But, very important thing you mentioned, and I'm sure others here will concur, that is having confidence in a brand while making your decision on what to or where to order from. It's a very, very important thing. In fact, I'll go a step further. I believe this is also telling you that lots of what I call fly-by-night operators who came in not because they were passionate about this trade, they came in because this business was supposed to be very glamorous. I think they are realizing the pitfalls of being in the trade. It's not easy to succeed in the trade. And it's not such a bad thing, because it opens up the space for what I call serious food service players. So it's not such a bad thing. Amuleek, next time I'm going to come to you. Let's continue with a bit of a chai story here. It's very, very clear that, deliveries are here to stay. Deliveries will continue to grow. But I still believe the delivery will remain as an augmentation to my regular sale, and it will not become the mainstream. Do you concur?
I do concur. Just to kind of add some, details to what you just said, Anurag. I think, delivery, this entire COVID period has been a very strong tutorial session for people to experiment and then get attached to the delivery habit cycle. It's going to be a part and parcel of our life for sure, right? What it has done is it has, we feel, strongly changed the goal and intent of the physical retail experience. Net, in simple language, if any customer wants any product today, that can be delivered to him or her. So if a customer has to go and make a visit to the store, it is not for utilitarian or fulfillment reasons. It's for an experience, right? So if there is anything this COVID episode has done for physical retail, it is to raise the bar of the definition and execution of the word experience. See, the packaging for food categories, including beverage, increased. In our case, we reached pre-COVID levels of delivery on an absolute level with about 80% of the delivery hubs open. So the behavior around delivery has certainly accelerated. We feel this in turn will also imply a newfound reason and rationale for customers to come to the stores, right? I mean, the design, the partners, the service, hygiene, of course, these are baseline, but, the product range, the brand experience inside the store, So to me, that's the big shift, right? That the reason, rationale, and the bar for customer experience in physical retail is higher. And Anurag, to your earlier point, that's going to make it difficult for fashionistas or wannabes in this business to make a plunge into, because the operating reality just got raised up from a retail perspective.
Yes. Now, I'm going to ask you a very pointed question as an addendum to what you just spoke. Do you think that this COVID situation and the habit shift of people ordering in as well is going to boost consumption, or it is going to see more of a shift from dining in to calling in?
No, I think if I got your, please correct me if I'm missing some part of your question, Anurag, but I think number one, it's going to boost consumption for brands who have given a genuine assurance to the customer that they are a brand. See, frankly, brand building is a multi-decade story, right?
Absolutely.
You have 4 or 5 stores and you start carrying a notion that you are a brand, let's say as a QSR, fine dining, that's a big space. But with 4 or 5 QSRs, you're not in the domain zone of a brand, right?
Right.
So when you look at this whole COVID experience, customers are gravitating towards genuine brands. Either that's a function of scale or it's a function of the longevity that particular setup has had in the market. I think that is the biggest factor, predicated on hygiene, predicated on basics. But, just to repeat my earlier point, Anurag, just the expectation from the brand and the new normal is higher now. I trust you. You have been there for long. I will come back to you. But if you want me to come back to you again in a post-COVID world, you really have to deliver to me a lot more than delivery in excellent packaging within the safe confines of my own bedroom or dining room. What is that additional that you are bringing? That's changing. That has changed for sure.
And Anurag, if I may just add to what Amuleek just said to your questions, I personally believe overall consumption is certainly going to increase. And Amuleek mentioned one very significant reason that brands are going to benefit from it intensely. I also believe that there will be additional consumption occasions. For example, a lot of new people got introduced to deliveries because of the pandemic. A lot of people started taking away stuff from the stores. So these new consumption occasions will also continue to add to overall consumption. And this is additional to the kind of benefit that you can rate as being a genuine, strong brand.
No, very right, very right. Amuleek, can you put yourself on mute, please?
Sorry.
Otherwise I think it's just the voice is resonating. Okay. No, I think I completely agree with both of you that I think this whole thing about changing habit is going to boost consumption eventually. It's not that it's just a shift from one side to another. And as far as the brand is concerned, or the belief in the brand is concerned, I look at it very simply. अगर मुझे सुरक्षा की भावना मिलती है किसी एक ब्रांड में, I feel safe about ordering or going to a brand. That's what I want to achieve. Danger is I should not lose my, the sense of celebration because the restaurant suddenly starts resembling a hospital. So that's a very thin line to travel. Anyways, no, that's very interesting perspective, both you guys. Thank you so very much. Now I'm going to come to Musthafa. Musthafa, I would like to assume, and please correct me if I am wrong, that you are in a segment which would have benefited the most with the lockdown and work from home, and nothing wrong with it. I mean, somebody's crisis is somebody's opportunity, and there is nothing wrong with that. Situations, warrant these things. Am I right in my assertion?
You're right.
And if yes, then I will come back with my next question.
Yes.
Yes? Okay. So it helped because there were a lot more people who were at home and, they probably did not have adequate help at home. And that's why the ready-to-eat produce had a better taking. I can tell that for my society of 550 flats. I don't know how many bakers emerged out of our society, how many batterwalas emerged out of the society. And everybody was ordering from each other because at least it's coming from a house which is in my complex. It's not traveling from somewhere. Now, honestly, how do you think this holding up going forward? See, I'm sure people who are repeating orders with you are the ones who are happy with what you're doing. And you have a lot of them from the time 2005 is what I understand you started in. So it's a long history. So we don't need to get to that bit that whether people like your product or not. Do you see these new consumers sticking around with you? And if yes, why? Other than the product sanctity, the product vanity or whatever, product quality. Other than that, why do you think this will continue to stick?
So for ID business, there were two impacts. One was, of course, a positive impact and one was a negative impact. Let me start with the negative impact first. Many people, mostly IT crowd, migrated to their hometown from the main cities, and we were not available in their hometown, in the villages. We are available only in the main cities, the key cities. So for that reason, there is a negative impact to a business. For example, if you look at a market like Bangalore, where majority of my customers were IT crowd, and most of them are working from home these days till June this year. So there is an impact, negative impact to the overall business. But one thing that we noticed is people used to have luxurious dining at in the restaurants, right? Eating out joints and all of them. And then they're now trying to create that occasion at home. And that's where our other products like parathas did very well. In fact, if you look at the parathas, let's take a product like wheat paratha, which I was struggling for the 10 years to build that brand. We have doubled our revenue in less than 3 months for the wheat paratha. And on an e-commerce platform, we actually tripled our revenue in less than 6 months. That has happened because people are looking for various eating, combinations or eating occasions, and this turned out to be the right fit for them. So post-COVID, I am pretty sure that these customers will stick to the products, as well as my regular customers who are now in the villages will come back to Bangalore, to main cities, and hopefully will get us a better situation than we are today. A few things that I've noticed as a trend. One, definitely people are becoming more health conscious. I used to wonder about it earlier. People actually don't look at the health part of the product. They are only looking at the taste. And even today, that matters, right? Taste matters. As you mentioned, otherwise it becomes like a hospital. But then people are becoming more health conscious. And once you have a reason to believe that your products are healthy products, right? I think it works. And in our case, the biggest advantage that we had was we were dealing with highly perishable fresh food. Fresh is easy to sell. Fresh is a reason for consumers to believe that this is natural, because our products come with 3 to 4 days shelf life, and if it doesn't get consumed, it gets spoiled, and that's one of the reasons to believe. And second thing, of course, as Amuleek mentioned, the brand, trust, all of them matters, but one of the most important reasons to believe is the shelf life of the product. That is one observation that I have. People have become more health conscious and will move to more healthier options than junk options that we had earlier, for sure.
So I have a follow-up question to that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to let you go so easy, okay? So my follow-up question is, these people who are ordering your parathas, I understand your Malabari parotha or something is a very popular, Malabari or whatever, that's Malabari
we have
parotha,
both.
right?
Malabar paratha as well as wheat paratha, yeah.
Wheat paratha, I believe, was one of your hottest selling SKUs. Now tell me, I mean, that was when restaurants were not functioning.
Just for information, during this COVID time, paratha has overtaken our batter business.
Wow.
Number one SKU.
Good one.
Yeah. Now I can give it a little bit of a, what I call a twist and say North is winning over South, but I will skip that. No, on a serious note. Now you tell me, and with the pandemic, let's say once it gets over, people go back to heading back to their favorite restaurants. How do you retain these customers who have come into you primarily because their need was not being fulfilled elsewhere, and they found a good product with you? How do you retain them?
I see two opportunities. One, I think I should travel with them wherever they go. If they want to eat in a restaurant, I should find a way to get into those restaurants rather than missing those customers. Right, that is one aspect. Second thing is I should have a convincing story for them to stick to me. And that convincing story is they have experienced it now, and it turned out to be much better and cheaper option for them. So probably majority of them will stick to the current consumption pattern.
Yeah, if it's
doesn't mean that they won't eat outside. So my point is, most likely the situation would be making at home will get reduced. Buying from outside, like products like ID, will continue to grow, and eating out will come back to normalcy probably.
No, you could be absolutely right on this. Maybe this growth of yours will come at the expense of actual domestic production at home.
Yes.
Because that's a reality. Now, lovely.
Second observation from me was, we were struggling on e-com. Our revenue was at 2 or 3% pre-COVID, and thankfully in February, if you look at our India revenue, would be around 15% of our India e-com revenue would be around 15% of total revenue. So we've seen a 7-fold revenue growth.
Wow.
On e-com.
Wow.
I think that's
very believable, because that became and I think it's here to stay. I'm a very firm believer that if Indian economy has to become a 5 trillion economy, there are two things you need to do. There has to be a boost on e-commerce, because that is where actual consumption boost will come in. I'm not talking about the other pitfalls of that or other safeguards that we need. And second is, you need to extend the business hours. So maybe a 24/7 life with a vibrant e-commerce is what you need to become a 5 trillion economy, as India is aiming to be. Okay, Sagar.
बोलिए सर।
Now, अभी हमने चाय की कहानी सुन ली, दो लोगों की जुबानी. We also heard this beautiful story. Musthafa, I must say it was a beautiful story to hear that how parathas became your main product, while everybody thought that, for me, I thought it was all about the batters you do. But it's a brilliant story, and these are the facts that are not known in the public domain otherwise. Sagar, here are you dealing with a product which does not have quote unquote a pan-Indian appeal. Okay, it is neither as popular or ubiquitous as a chai, nor is it as I've always maintained a dosa, idli, and they are probably the only food which have a pan-Indian presence. Everywhere you go to a hotel in Jammu, you will get a dosa for breakfast, or down south, of course, you get. Now, in with dealing with a product like that, I know you've done Wow China, and in my view, contrary to what the India Food Service report says, I believe after Indian food, it is the Chinese which is most popular and not the Italian. So, how did you manage this whole thing, and how do you see your consumer experience is gonna improve in the times of pandemic? Because we know the restrictions that pandemic has brought. We know the problems pandemic has brought, but I'm not talking about the commercial problem. I'm talking from a consumer perspective. How do you keep them engaged? How you keep them happy or keep them happier?
So yeah, Anurag sir, I think a very good point. But I've always believed that, when it's a virgin market, right, it's a bigger advantage, because then you become the brand and you become the category. You create the brand, right? So today, when we opened up in Chennai in 2013, for the next 2 or 3 years, people would call any Momo guy or our Momo, or in Cochin, Blue Mall. So I think the brand becomes the category, it just becomes advantageous for you, right? So I think you become trendsetters. I think the biggest example for us has been Domino's. I mean, they've converted a roti eating country to a pizza eating country, right? So I think the other advantage that I feel, personally, if I have to look at it in a very positive manner, the other advantage I have is that, today for a chai, people will always compare what Nitin or Amuleek is doing with, any other chai vendor, because there are so many chai people available in the country, right? I mean, you have your ghar ka chai, you have your dhaba ka chai, you have your cooler chai, etc., right? So for them to, actually go out there and expand, I think it's more difficult for them, and they're doing a great job the way they are going about it. The scrutiny is higher in their case, because chai mein sabki ek opinion rehti hai, right? Because you're having it since childhood, you're having it anywhere and everywhere. The same thing with maybe idli, it's available anywhere and everywhere. But with a category like a Momo or a pizza, what the brand gives you, that is your introduction to the product, and then you start developing a taste for it, right? So I feel it's an advantage to a large extent. And what we've done is, we've Indianized that Momo version of it. Now, many of you might not know, but I'll reveal it today that I've been talking a lot to Musthafa, and he's been very, very helpful to me in the last 1.5 months. So we are also entering into the instant Momo space, where we are entering into FMCG. So I mean, for us, that is becoming a second line of business, like it's a restaurant shifting to FMCG to a large extent.
Stop for a second.
Welcome to New World, Sagar.
Significant, very, very significant words that Sagar has used right now. Well done. That's the way to go. You've been leading the way in many ways. I remember your CCD story where it was store in store at CCD. Well done. Now you can continue.
Yeah,
I just want to interrupt. And
Sagar, welcome to New World.
Yeah. Opened up a new world. Yeah, completely.
Okay.
Yeah, so with this whole instant Momo coming in, see, the idea that we felt was that Momo as a category has to grow, right? And if you have to reach everyone's household, just the way Maggie did it with Nestle did with Maggie, you want instant food, and that is how we built this concept of Momo in a minute. So you can literally have your Momo in a minute, I mean, not even 2 minutes. And to reach every household, to build the brand, to build the category, and in a space where you don't have competition, in a way, you yourself try and, create multiple omni channels to make the product more familiar to people. So the restaurant business obviously will be a more experiential business where you get different varieties of momos, more of innovation. I mean, we've converted a simple steam momo to a momo burger, to chocolate momos, to sizzler momos, to a baked momo au gratin, right? And at home, you get your basic steam momos, and that to different flavors, different size and shape. Very rightly said that, experience in our industry matters a lot. The customer comes in for experience. I've always said that, our industry is, I think, the next after Bollywood when it comes to entertainment. I mean, we become a space where people socialize, hang out, build memories, and that's never going to change, right? The consumption pattern definitely is going to change, where your home cooking will get converted to do it yourself, like making your own idli, or having your own momo, having your own paratha, or at the same time, going for that impulse consumption at home when you're very hungry and you feel lazy to cook. And with people working more and more from home, see, the pandemic, the next normal, not even the new normal. Okay, I mean, I don't want to call it the new normal. I am completely with you when it comes to the next normal. But work from home is going to definitely become now a small part of our aspect, whether we agree or not. It will not be a permanent aspect, but many people will prefer working from home because they've now realized that productivity is still there doing that also. And in doing so, you will have many of your homemakers, many of the people who earlier would cook at home and come back will resort to ordering from delivery from your restaurant, or having it in an FMCG format like what Musthafa is doing, etc., etc. At the same time, when you are too tired and you're too much in front of a laptop, you want to go out of the house. So in a way, I think it's a win-win from all sides. You will see more consumption happening at the restaurant because people will be too tired of sitting in front of the screen. At the same time, people consuming at home. So if you look at it from a very positive angle, I think it's a brilliant thing that could happen to our industry. It gave us a pause. It led to detox. Detox is the word. How detox happened? Many of your wannabes who wanted to get into the food space have now got wiped up to a large extent. So it's a clean slate. It's a clear slate, and brands are here to stay. And brands are not built overnight. It requires a lot of sacrifice, a lot of effort to win over the customer's trust. And like Amuleek mentioned, once you have that brand right in there, post-COVID, the consumer will want something more out of you to come back to you again and again. And I think that is what all of us are striving here for. So yeah, I mean that's what you need to do. Like I mentioned in the earlier panel also, that it's all about becoming a part of people's social lives. It's a part of their daily lives. Whether it's your birthday or it's a Valentine's Day. For us, in every Valentine's Day we make these heart-shaped chocolate momos, and it goes off like crazy. And if it's Republic Day or Independence Day, we do the tricolor sauce. So we have the red sauce and the green sauce. We do a white sauce. So it's how you make food fun, how you interact with your people, how you engage with your customers. Now, engagement is very important whether you want to convey health, hygiene, or happiness, right? It's important in all aspects. So I think communication becomes a very big tool in brand building, and that brand building leads to trust, longevity, which we all spoke about. So you just have to keep your basics. If you are a food brand, people come to you for your food. Other things are like an icing on the cake, whether it's your service and the other aspects. If you can, stick to your basics, if you can give in the good quality food, consistent food, today Domino's will not give you the best pizzas in the world, but they give you the most consistent pizzas across the globe, right? And that's what you need to strive for in the food space or in any business, I feel. That's how you wow your customer and you make it. Yeah.
True, Sagar. No, in fact, I like the positivity of yours. लोग घर पे बैठे हैं, इससे ज़्यादा order भी करेंगे और ज़्यादा बाहर भी जाएंगे. मतलब ऐसा positivity तो भैया मतलब खतरनाक है. मतलब बढ़िया है लेकिन. Good to hear. Because it's time now to look at the positivities of the trade. We have spoken enough about our crisis of the past year. Time to look ahead now, and I quite like the positivity which you bring in. But I'm next going to come to Nitin and Amuleek about something which I missed asking a little while earlier. Musthafa said very rightly that he saw a complete shift in the consumption. He sold more parathas than batter during the pandemic. Now, you guys, for sure, as much as you are known for chai, food is a very significant part of your business. Did you see any major shift in that during the pandemic? Or did you do anything significantly different to make the food a little more prominent part?
Nothing at our end, actually. The overall consumption behavior pre-COVID to post-COVID when it comes to food versus chai, it has pretty much remained the same for us. The only thing that has changed
for you, Amuleek, as well. Sorry, Nitin.
No, actually, for us, it was quite a change, Anurag. Our food share pre-COVID used to be close to about 27, 28%. And now it has come to about 48%. So, wow. Yeah, so we saw a very dramatic shift. And here is my hypothesis as to what happened. I think customers gravitated towards brands who have high standards. We are third year in a running ISO 22000 as a company. Like Nitin talked about their experience in promoting safety aspects, we went overboard in communicating to the customers. And we realized that customers wanted trusted brands to solve their problems. One big problem was no help at home for a very large period. So we actually got literally inundated with requests through media, one-on-one, that guys, you have some food portfolio, we trust your hygiene, amp it up. So our share went high. And on that note, Musthafa has been actually helping us on the Parantha story. So Musthafa, I can perfectly relate to your stats because we saw a dramatic change. And coupled to that reality, Anurag, I mean, then we also saw that what is the new customer experience that we need to create. So now the sort of outlook that we have is that Chai Point is the umbrella brand. People step into the store and they are treated to a world of sub-brands. So we are actually announcing a major release of a brand, sub-brand within our Chai Point stores called Peppy Paranthas. So we are launching a range of paranthas in various formats. Peppy roll, Peppy loaded, Peppy with curry. Because we saw the proof point or COVID as a pilot around the traction around the category. And this is not a north basis experience. This was a southwest, north-based data point. So our outlook, centering to my earlier point now is that how do you raise the experience bar for the customer? You step into the portals of a trusted brand, in our case, Chai Point, and then you are led to a world of sub-brands. So to your answer, food went up. Other surprising thing is that we have realized that filter coffee for us is a massive beverage. I mean, we are an omni-channel brand. We have a very significant vending business. Arguably, we are now the largest filter coffee seller in the country. So because our volumes over the last year and a half have really gone up. And so we are creating a sub-brand around the coffee experience within Chai Point called CAT, right? So our outlook really is that the customer is net, if I had to summarize, that gravitating towards brands. They want brands to solve their problems, as you said, and Sagar also highlighted consistency. And last part, they want their experience bar to be raised. So we feel creating sub-brands and unique experiences around it is a way for them to kind of justify that drive to the store, park the car, find the parking, step in, and then be sort of entertained. Because delivery is not going anywhere. That's very clear. I think delivery is going to just pick up. It's a big problem solver. Anurag, fundamentally, I believe that brands in the long term exist not only for delight reasons, but also to solve people's problem. And accessibility and convenience is a problem which is only going to get bigger and bigger, and delivery has shown a pathway to solve that.
Amuleek, wanted to add on top of one point. By the way, we also do a filter coffee decoction. And one thing that we noticed is, in the last few months, we start selling, we now sell around 2 million cups of coffee every month. That's the kind of numbers we have seen.
Musthafa, we should talk.
Musthafa, I'm getting FOMO, man.
I'm in FMCG. I'm like, don't worry.
Yaar, tum idli, dosa, momo, coffee, Musthafa, you are our factory now. The brand factory.
That's what I was saying, Anurag. I'm getting FOMO. I'm the only guy who's not taking help from Musthafa.
Okay, Musthafa. Okay, guys. Now we have understood what we have done during the pandemic and how things have changed. Amuleek, I had a very quick follow-up question from you. Did you make any significant change in your food menu, which propelled the growth of food sales?
Yes. As I said, I mean, the biggest change was on creating the sub-brand category around Peppy. So Peppy rolls, Peppy with curries, and we launched 3 curries, chicken-based and Rajma, very, very popular. I'm from Jammu and Kashmir, so, I could appreciate the Parantha Rajma connection. So, it turned out that it was really very well received. And then, of course, the, Anda Parantha, Aloo Parantha. So basically, we created 3 subcategories under Parantha and rolled it up into one single brand and worked on the packaging so that the experience around the category is, contemporary, forward-looking.
Got you. Okay, gentlemen, we have spoken about what we did. Now I'm going to make a little shift. And now I'm going to ask you questions around what is that you will be doing going forward, next 12 months. What is that you're going to do to make sure your consumer sticks with you, you have newer consumer acquisition, and the overall consumption goes up? In the meanwhile, before I go to any of the panelists, we know we have a few questions from the viewers. We'll take them towards the end of the session. We'll definitely take them up. Okay, so we start with Sagar first. Next 1 year, what is that Sagar is going to do which will get him more consumers and have the current consumers consume more?
Yeah, I personally feel if you're confident about your business model, which we feel we are, touch wood, by God's grace, I think this is the right time to expand because A, you're getting properties at cheaper rental. You're being able to negotiate better rental deals. And what we've always believed is that, for us, the biggest form of brand building or acquiring new customers is opening more and more stores. I don't want to do a press ad and a hoarding. For me, my store is my marketing point, right? The more and more people I can feed momos, I know they'll come back to me again and again. So if I have to win new customers, acquire new customers, I think this is the right time to go out there and flood the market. And largely in high street because, delivery has become very prominent now and will be prominent for the next few years to come and will only grow. When we began Wow Momo, we used to do zero delivery till the first 7 years. And even when Swiggy Zomato came into the picture, it was in the range of single digits. And now we are at a 40% plus above delivery, right? So it's been a shift throughout. Even before pandemic, we had reached 25%. So delivery is going to grow, like Amuleek rightly said. It's solving people's problem. The consumer wants convenience. The consumer wants, come what may, the consumer is the king and will always be the king, right? And I'm very clear that we want to be the Momo king. So just open more and more stores, be more visible, expand, win over more customers. I think keep it very simple. Stick to your basics. I think now it's the time to, get back to profitability, get back to revival. What pandemic has taught us, it's made, all of us being young startups here. Musthafa looks the youngest, but, I just got to know, I saw on LinkedIn that his son actually graduated and he was there in the convocation ceremony. So yeah, Musthafa looks damn fit and damn young. Compared to all of us here, I think the fittest here. But to be very honest, I think, it's going to be about, sticking to your basics, your core, expanding, winning over new customers. And what pandemic taught us was to go agile, to go lean, right? And, doing so, because we were all running a very big rat race. Pandemic gave us a pause, right? It made us introspect, right? Like I said, detox hamare mein bhi hua hai, sab mein hua hai, right? We also realized a lot of things that we were not doing. See, when you do well, you're profitable, you enjoy a lot of luxuries, right? Suddenly when everything goes down and become negative and your back is up against the wall, you look at, you say ki yaar main iske bina bhi kar sakta hu, and gradually what we realize is that, having a linear team always helps. So I think going forward, pandemic has set up a base for all of us to get back to profitability. And I think we should all grab it with both hands, have linear teams, get your costs under control, and the next 12 months, just focus on getting your business back to profits,
Okay, Sagar, I want to talk only about consumers right now. So what I understood from you is, keep opening newer stores. Don't try to fix something which is not broken. Get to newer markets and open up all channels, whether it is delivery, takeaway, whatever, and just keep growing like that. That's keeping it very simple. And probably because your segment is fairly, you are the uncontested king, this can work. Now I'm coming to Nitin.
One more small thing I like, Anurag ji, I want to just take a half a minute more. Remember in the earlier panel also I had mentioned that, I'm not a very big fan of cloud kitchen. I think it's a ghost kitchen model. I'm a very big fan of the hybrid model, where you have your retail store, you have your physical presence and you do delivery out of it. But how, according to me, cloud kitchen can work, and, it's to all the food F&B guys over there who want to become aspiring entrepreneurs. We have a brand called Wow China, and we just launched another sub brand called the Chaayos.com within the same category, right? And we could see that the Wow China sale did not decline, but this new brand added in another 2 lakhs of additional sale with the same set of chef, the same real estate. So imagine, this is how you need to look at your business in a very different manner to sweat the asset better. Basically, you have to sweat the asset better in whatever form.
Brick and click is a model which has to work. You need to have, it's better to have a store than hire a holding.
Agreed.
Saluja Saab, agle...
I have a very simple and short answer to your question. We'll just continue to do more of the same, Anurag. That's the name of the game for us. We are totally focused. Just continue to do what's working for you. Heads down. That's it.
Okay. Oh, that's as crisp as it can get, and that shows the clarity of mind that I know what I want to do. Musthafa, what is that you will be doing over the next 12 months to make it better for your consumers?
2 points in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
One, I will listen to my consumers and find out or come up with innovative solutions for them continuously. We have seen that happening and that working on the market. Second thing,
yeah, you have thrived on innovations, so you can't.
We have learned. Second point, we have learned to do more with less now. We will continue doing it.
Yeah, I think that's a very general lesson everybody has learned. Yeah. That while we were in that growth phase, or I call mad rat race, lots of fat accumulated in our system.
Yes.
And this pandemic gave us a little chance to shed some of the fat, and it's good for the body.
Yes.
Amuleek, very quickly, what are those two things you will do over the next 12 months?
See, I think, Anurag, COVID has definitely taught us a lot of things. And listening to the customer, for example, our food share, focus has definitely increased. And our initiatives to create sub-brands that increase the reason for the customer to step into the store and be delighted is primal. But I think while we continue to learn on an ongoing basis, what is central for us is to live up to our brand purpose. That is our central guiding rule for the past several years. And for the next 20, 25 years, we want to have a vision centered around it. That's to serve a great cup that brings people together and brightens lives. So long as we deliver on this brand purpose, irrespective of the current situation, COVID, post-COVID, new normal, whatever, I think we will feel ourselves that we are pursuing the right path. Certain tactical changes definitely are needed because, sometimes cataclysmic events happen, and COVID was such one thing. But a brand's purpose should never be lost. And we want to continue to center on that. It will mean for the customer that we are revisiting the experience zones to highlight this brand purpose in a much more stronger vigor, fundamentally around the store platform. So really, in summary, aligning the brand purpose to the current operating reality and the changes it has brought is going to be our number one plan.
Great. Thank you. I think we are left with the last 5 minutes of the show. So I'm going to move to the few audience questions. The first is, what is your favorite customer experience story from the lockdown? Who wants to take that?
Well, I'll take this.
I can take it. Should I?
Yeah.
Sorry, Sagar.
Go ahead and I'll go ahead.
I'll keep it short. Very, very funny story, but I think it'll be interesting. 2 months ago, I received a very funny customer complaint. We pack 5 parathas in a pack. And the complaint was the customer's ID pack of parathas had just 3 pieces instead of 5. It was a surprise for us. There could be chances of, paratha instead of 5, it could become 4 or 6. Possible, right? Extreme conditions. But becoming 3 parathas in a pack was almost an impossible thing. But then, it was a customer, and we respect the customer. Our team apologized to the customers, got the batch number, and started an internal investigation. And we also arranged to deliver a replacement pack for the customer. But within half an hour, the same customer called back. But this time he sounded more sorry than us.
Okay.
Right? You know what? He said, sorry about it. My wife had eaten 2 parathas before me, and I had no clue about it.
Fantastic.
Look at this customer. Right? Yeah. So the reason I'm sharing this story with you is
these are honest customers.
It could be fun, but when you deal with such honest customers, we love our life of being an entrepreneur.
Super. Very well said, Musthafa.
Thank you.
I have one more question that I'll take. How do you ensure that the normal customer gets an equally, if not more delightful experience in the next normal? Who is going to take that?
I think the answer is out there in the basics. I don't think we need to do anything out of the ordinary, but stick to the core of the product for our consumers to just have an equally delightful experience, if not more. Keep coming out with great products. Keep doing keep doing your core products to your best. I don't know if there can be any other option available to us.
Okay.
The chai
Amuleek,
has
you
to
want
be
to add to
kadak
that?
all the time. That's it.
Can I add that?
Yeah, please.
Yeah. So I think, there's a friend of mine who said that sign of a good intellect is if you can manage two conflicting thoughts in your mind at the same time. This current crisis has created that sort of a scenario many a time. So, the part of us that says that we got to stick to our brand purpose, but there is another part which says that look what the customer is saying now, because maybe the customer's habits are changing. So maybe the customer's preference are changing. So Anurag, you also mentioned that, and I think Sagar also mentioned that people are going to work out of home in a big way. Flexibility that corporates and offices are going to afford to people working out of home is going to be increasing. So launching new products. So for example, literally 5 days ago, we launched an instant chai range, which we never had. So this is our foray into CPG in a very aggressive manner. We've always had some packaged product business, but we went after it with big rigor. And this was fundamentally to address the new customer reality. You don't have mates, you don't know the right recipes. How do you give options to people to create that authentic chai experience? So, I think the new use cases are coming up again and again. Musthafa alluded to filter coffee in a sachet, right? So sticking to the brand purpose, but dipsticking with the customer and figuring out their new emergent needs. One thing I'm very clear that emergent needs are coming. I mean, the parotha shift from idli batter, I'm sure Musthafa would have done a thesis on that, and possibly I'll take that detail from him separately. But these are all emergent needs. So being sensitive to the emergent needs is what I would say.
Okay, I think now we are out of time. I'm told that we have to shut at 3:25 and we are almost there. So I must tell you that it has been a very riveting experience with 4 people who are doing very different things in a way than what I have done all my life. And, the sheer energy, the sheer vigor that comes out in your talks, the passion that comes out is very, very huge. And I think that is where the key to the success to the future lies. I don't think we can lose our passion as food service players, as part of the service industry. As long as we do that, our consumers will keep coming back to us and keep going back happy, delighted, and will come back again. And that's the key to success. So on that note, gentlemen, and all the audience, thank you so much for being a part of this discussion. I hope this was worth your while. Thank you. Namaskar.